Y'all, I am very excited to say that today we are going to be watching the finale of Death Note. The time is finally here. It's been what, 6 months? Holy cow. We've come a long way in a very short period of time. Well, I guess it's actually been a while. It's been like half a year. First and foremost, shout out to my homies at Pink City. I freaking adore this Ryuk sweater. It's super nice. It's real knitted sweater. It's not just like printed on. It's a local Canadian brand and they do nerdy anime stuff. I'm not sponsored by them. I just love their stuff and I love the people who run the company. They're amazing people. So if you love this sweater or if you want some other anime nerdy stuff, I think they also have the Full Metal raincoat, Ed's raincoat. I'll put a link to their site in the description of this video below. I cannot believe we are going to be watching the last two episodes of Death Note, episodes 36 and 37. Last video, we had a lot of stuff going on. Oh boy. We had Mello kidnap names Takeda. Sadly died at the end. Light wrote her name in his notebook and she died in a fire inside of a truck, which sounds freaking awful. But not before she killed Mello with a page from the notebook that she snuck in. So Mello is now dead. Takeda is now dead. We still have Mikami around. We still have the task force around, but it sounds like Light has led them into some sort of trap, maybe possibly. We still have Nier in the picture. Also, I think Nier is trying to lure Light into some sort of trap. So we've got a lot of moving parts here. Very difficult to keep up. But I think we're going to have things sort of come to their end, their close. And I'm low-key kind of sad. I've really loved this show. I don't really want it to end, but at the same time, you know, you got to know when to end a story. So yeah, we're going to be watching episodes 36 and 37, and then we're going to have a nice long discussion about the show in general. And I'm very much looking forward to that. So without further ado, let's hop into episode 36.
Investigators suspect gasoline was used to start the fire.
Is the task force gonna be super duper sus now?
Very well. The 28th, the day after tomorrow.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Matsuda, Ide, when the day comes, there's a good chance we might all be killed. Don't you understand that?
They definitely don't.
Yes.
Will you be able to make it in time?
Yes. I'll be there for sure.
Now, Giovanni touched the fake notebook, right?
I don't know what's going on, but this must be some sort of compensation or something. They totally put me up in the penthouse suite at the Tato Hotel. Can you believe it? Now this is more like it.
I understand.
Oh. Interesting way of transporting it.
I chose Aizawa for the job because we knew you'd prefer that.
I am so worried about Aizawa right now.
And those who know of the notebook's existence, all of them will die.
So curious how Mikami comes into play here. Because I think they need Mikami's Shinigami eyes to find out Nier's real name. I don't think anyone knows Nier's real name at this point. Ooh, he's got a mask on. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
But the fact that he's wearing a mask says he's only trying to protect himself, not anyone else.
It's just a precaution. There's a good possibility that Kira has already seen the faces of everyone in this warehouse except for mine. So I'd like to wait for 1 hour. No, make it 30 minutes. That should give us more than enough time to see if anyone is being controlled before they die.
Oh.
It's not impossible that Light really is Kira, especially since the rest of us are of no use to him anymore.
So They think he may have preemptively written people's names down.
I never thought it would be this hard to keep myself from laughing out loud. Nier must be waiting for him to come.
Mikami?
Yes, I am waiting for the arrival of the one who will solve everything once and for all.
Oh?
He's already here.
Okay, okay. Uh-huh. Nate. His name is Nate.
Hold it! Don't do anything!
Everything is fine. You won't die.
How does Nier know that?
Because I modified the notebook.
What?
I was able to replace the page he would use today, as well as all subsequent pages, so that no one else would die.
Oh, is that what Giovanni was doing?
That's when we'll restrain him and seize the notebook. Whoever's name is not written down must
Light, what have you done?
The notebook you altered was nothing more than a forgery I had Mikami prepare.
That was
On the other
the
hand,
fake one,
the
right?
Mikami is writing their names in is the real notebook, which had been kept hidden until now. I always knew you were going to try and alter the Death Note. That's why I had Mikami check the notebook every day for signs of tampering.
So were they all gonna die? That's what he confirmed. They tampered with it.
This victory was no fun. You tried too hard to win in a noble way. Well, that's fine. Everyone here
After this
dies
whole
today,
monologue,
thanks to
I
you.
feel like Nier definitely saw that coming. No one's dead yet.
Have you finished writing down the names in the notebook?
God. Yes, I've written them.
Is he gonna out himself right here?
Why would he answer you so quickly, calmly, and honestly when you asked him if he had written down our names yet?
I genuinely don't know which way this is gonna go. They both feel too confident.
37, 38, 39,
Well, Nier, looks like I win.
40!
No, are you freaking kidding me? Oh, how dare this show? That was rude. My heart is pounding right now. I'm like trying to piece together and trying to remember like tiny little details so that I can figure out which one actually has the upper hand, because right now they both think that they do. I'm getting the impression that because Light was the last one to kind of go on his villain monologue, that the reveal is going to be that Nier knew it was a fake and did some sort of countermeasure to whatever. I don't know. Did something. What could it have been though? I'm thinking like something along the lines of changing his name, but I don't see how that would help because Mikami would still see whatever he changed his name to with the Shinigami eyes. I don't know. I truly don't know. And then to do all that and still let all those other people die, that doesn't make any sense. I feel like Nier must have ensured that the new notebook is the fake one. Somehow. I don't know how he would have secured that, but God, I don't know, but we'll find out in the next episode, the last one, episode 37. Should we do it? Should we start right now? Oh my God, I'm scared, but you know what? We got to do it. Rip it off like a band-aid. Let's find out. Episode 37, the finale, starting now.
We're still alive. been over a minute and we haven't died.
And Light admitted it.
It's a trap! This whole thing is a setup! This is all part of Nier's plan to frame me! Isn't it a little odd that no one died after having their name written in the notebook? This proves it's a trap!
He's losing it.
This is a setup. I don't know this guy!
Oh my god, Light.
Light, it's too late to deny it. You know Nier has won. Just a moment ago, you were saying it looks
like I win. Yep.
How much more of a confession do we need?
We only switched part of the fake notebook, but as for the real one, we replaced the entire thing. This notebook here is actually the real one.
No! Impossible!
We used the same kind of pen that Mikami used, copied his handwriting perfectly, and made both the inside and the outside of our fake look exactly like the original. Giovanni was able to do it in a single night.
Okay.
The real notebook before coming, I've been able to see the Shinigami as well.
Oh!
It's a... I wonder how many times you deceived us with this, and how many people you killed.
A lot.
Or could it be that Mikami's betrayed me somehow?
You're mistaken. This was all thanks to Mello.
Oh.
I followed Mikami to the bank as he headed for the safe deposit
Oh, that's where the
boxes.
notebook was?
Let's see you try and talk your way out of this one. If you can.
Why even give him the chance to do so?
I am Kira.
Light is absolutely gone.
I'm not only Kira, but I am also
Justice.
God of the New World.
No! You're just a murderer, Light Yagami.
Thank you, Nier. I think he still has a piece of paper in his watch, right?
It's the only way to see if it's real. Or fake!
He's hidden a piece of the notebook!
Matsuda!
Oh, Matsu did that. Yeah,
What was it all
Matsu!
for then? What about your dad? What the hell did he die for?
Yeah, you fucking tell him, Matsu.
You mean Soichiro Yagami? I'll kill him. I'll kill him! He has to die!
Oh my god. What did Mikami just do?
Wait, Light!
Is Light trying to run? So were you gonna write his name down?
Remember how, in the beginning, when we first met, I told you that I'd be the one writing your name in my notebook? If they put you in prison, who knows when you die? And I don't want to lie around waiting. You'll die here. It was good while it lasted. We eased each other's boredom for quite a while. Well, Light, it's been interesting.
Damn. What a show. Ryuk, best character. Hands down. I still want to know who the old man is. We never got to see him, but I think the implication is that the old man is God, right? I'm going to take a few moments to collect my thoughts, but I'll be right back, and we're going to talk about Death Note. Okay, so we finished Death Note. Overall, I very much enjoyed that show. I can see why it is one of the most iconic anime to date. But before we get into the show overall, I do want to talk about the finale, that final episode. First and foremost, I loved some of the great sort of closure moments that some of the characters had, especially Matsu. Matsu being able to just unleash on Light and call him out for what he did to his father and so many other people. But Matsu had that personal connection with Light's father and Light's family. And I think that's probably part of why Matsu was so blind to Light potentially being Kira, is that he had this personal connection with the family and thought this boy that I've known for years could never do that. Comes from such a good family. Why would he want to do this? He could never hurt his father. His father loved him and he loved his father. And I can see why Matsu would be clouded in his judgment. But I love that he got to just let Light have it. That was amazing. Also love that Ryuk was the one to write Light's name down in his notebook. I had actually rewatched my reactions to episodes 1 and 2 earlier today just to kind of refresh myself on what happened in the beginning of the show. And one thing that I remember thinking is, oh, Ryuk said that he was going to be the one to write Light's name down in the end. And I wonder if that's what's going to happen in the finale. And it did. And I could not be happier with that. I think it shows also the dichotomy between how Misa and her Shinigami differed from Light and his Shinigami. With Misa, you had Rem, who would have done anything for her, who even extended Misa's life at the cost of her own. Whereas Ryuk had no emotional attachment to Light. As soon as Light's purpose was over and done with, Ryuk was like, okay, you served your purpose. You entertained me. I think I'm done here. So yeah, I think Ryuk getting that final nail in the coffin, so to speak, was fantastic. And I think he definitely deserved that. In terms of tricking Light into outing himself, I've kind of said this the whole way through, and this is just my own personal opinion. If you disagree and you like the way that things went down, no shade or anything. I totally get it. I just think that I didn't have much of a personal connection with Nier or Mello. I thought they were cool characters. They were fine, but I truly loved L as a character, and I wish that whoever would have caught Light would have either been another core character, such as Misa, for example, or even Aizawa. I think that would have been really satisfying. Nier and Mello, I felt like were just characters that fit where they needed to fit, but they weren't interesting. And they came in so late in the show that it was hard to feel any sort of like connection with them, especially because they came in replacing a character that I absolutely loved, and they were just basically the same person as that character. And it's like, why would you replace a character with the same thing? You know, if you're gonna kill off a huge major character like that, bring in somebody brand new, fresh. You know, give something fresh to the story, right? That's my thought on that matter. I found the ending overall was really, really good, if not a little bit sort of flimsy in terms of their explanation on knowing that the notebook was a fake, being able to replicate the notebook with exact perfect handwriting and smudge marks and burn marks and things, probably corners torn out and things like that. They were able to do that in a night. I mean, sure, I guess. I don't know. I feel like that's a very difficult thing to pull off. But, you know, go Giovanni. You're a real one. Plus, like, not only that, but I think the explanation on finding out that that notebook was a fake was a little flimsy. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the finale episode itself. But overall, the show was great. I loved it. Absolutely freaking loved it. The art style was super, super interesting. I loved the use of color for certain core characters. Light was red, Elle was blue, Matsu I think was purple, I think Aizawa was green. I can't remember what some of the others were, but yeah, it was really cool to see that those scenes come out and they stood out. They really stood out because the rest of the show was quite bland. And I don't mean bland in a bad way. I mean bland in the choice of color that was used. It was a lot of gray. It was a lot of black and white. It was a lot of muted tones. There wasn't a whole lot of bright color. So when there was bright color, you really, really, really noticed it. And you knew that that was going to be an important character moment because they were using that character's color. And then especially like the red versus blue, like you really could see the confrontation there through the use of color. And I love that a lot. The music was fantastic. I loved the sort of cathedral, churchy, monastery kind of vibe with a lot of the music. The second theme song, absolutely freaking incredible. Total banger. Gonna add that to my Spotify playlist. It's so, so, so good. And like that whole opening sequence, the second one, is just amazing. It was so different from the first one too. Like it had its own unique feel and unique art style to it. And the song was so different as well. It was a little bit shocking at first because you're like, whoa, this is not what I was expecting. And then you watch it and you're like, this is so freaking, like, this is like a really cool music video. And I absolutely loved it. I wish that I could show my reactions to music more, but this show in particular, I have found is very strict on getting copyright struck on music in particular. So I couldn't show a lot of music scenes. And it was hard to talk about music without, you know, drawing attention to the music, which would get me copyright struck. I have like notes, by the way. I went and wrote a few pages of notes. The characters. I think that the characters were quite possibly the strongest part of this show. And I think the show did a really good job of making you fall in love with the various characters. And if not falling in love with them, at least empathizing with them or admiring them for their skills or values or personality or whatever the case was. My favorite character for me personally was Ryuk. Feel free to drop a comment under this video and let me know who your favorite character was. But I loved the comic relief that Ryuk brought, even though he was supposed to be one of the darker characters, quite literally a god of death, bringing a notebook of death to the human world and turning this young, impressionable teenage boy into a mass murderer. Ethically, Ryuk Not the best person in the world, but a very freaking interesting character, super funny, and simple and relatable. His love of apples, just being bored and seeing what would happen, you know? I feel like Ryuk is ADHD embodied. Maybe that's why I love him so much, because I too have ADHD. I do feel like towards the end of the show, we didn't see Ryuk as much, and that made me a little bit sad. Because I would have liked to have seen, or at least heard, his sort of like internal dialogue and thoughts on everything that was going on, and especially what Light was doing and what Light was up to. He was really quiet. He was more of a spectator in the later half, whereas I think in the first half, he was still a spectator, but he would get involved in things, right? He would check Light's house for security cameras. He told Light that someone was following him. He scared the shit out of the drunken bus dude. He wrote fake rules in the notebook. But after he came back, like he was gone for a while. After he came back, he sort of took a backseat to a lot of it, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. I just think, like, because he was my favorite character, I wanted to see him be more of an active participant in what was going on, and or to even just like hear his thoughts and opinions on things, you know? Because I loved his commentary on what Light was doing in the first half of the show. I'm still sad that Elle died, as we know, because I bring it up all the time. And I do feel like the show got weaker after his death. I think that in killing off a main character, there needs to be, you need to give people something else to root for. It's hard for me to describe, but I think that Elle was the thing driving my desire to keep watching the show. Not that I felt like I wanted to stop watching after Elle died, because I needed to know what was going to happen, of course. But Elle was really the thing that drew me in. Elle was the thing that I found is interesting. Watching Elle work, watching Elle's thought processes, rooting for him and knowing that he was getting closer and closer to catching Light, knowing that he kind of sort of knew that Light was Kira, but not having the physical evidence to confront him on it, and having to try to trick Light into giving him that physical evidence was really, really interesting to watch. Really interesting. I understand why he died. I understand the sort of the process there, but it still makes me sad. Light as the anti-hero, the main character of the show, but obviously a terrible, horrible person. Normally, I don't like shows where the main character is a piece of garbage. I find it hard to watch because I don't have anyone to relate to. So I think what saved that for me in Death Note was having the side characters be the people that I was rooting for. And I think that the show did a really good job of giving you hope that they would figure it out, giving you hope that they would piece things together, that they would catch Light, that, you know, they were onto him. I think, and this is my opinion, although I really question people who watched this show and walked away thinking that Light was the good guy or that Light was right. Because I think if that was the take that you walked away with, I think you missed the entire point of this show. And I think you really see that in the final episode, in depicting Light's face as he gets caught. The art style was incredible. His face becomes absolutely distorted. It was fantastic. And you could see his descent into madness. Quite, like, visually, you could see it through the art of this show. I think the storytelling made it obvious that you were not supposed to be rooting for Light. And you get a similar narrative with Scott Pilgrim, where the main character is kind of a piece of shit. I mean, not to the same scale as Death Note, for sure. You're not supposed to watch Scott Pilgrim and like Scott Pilgrim the character. It's a really cool I was going to say show, I guess it is a show now, but movie or comic or whatever. Really good story, but you're not supposed to walk away and think, wow, I love Scott. He's the best. He's not. And neither is Light. Light was extremely narcissistic, flawed, prideful, and just not a good person. Not a good person. And I think if you walked away thinking that he was, I think you missed things, and I think you should probably rewatch the show. And, you know, just because someone is the main character doesn't mean that they aren't. Doesn't mean that they're the person you're supposed to be rooting for. As for the overall story, I thought it was such a great, unique concept, something that I've never even close to come across before. And I don't even know what genre to put this show in. I know that on Netflix it's tagged as, I think, psychological horror. And it's like, it has those elements, but it's not really. And it's very much its own thing. I've never seen anything like it because of how unique it was, and because of the themes and the choices that the characters had to make. I wish that we had gotten a little deeper, because I do feel like the story was rather surface level and didn't explore things like the human psyche. And not that the creators of this show owed us that or anything along those lines, because I don't think that's true. And I think they deserve to tell the story in whatever way they see fit. And I loved it for what it was, 1000%. I think for me personally, a concept like this, I would love to see the deeper ramifications of having a tool like the Death Note fall into your lap. What that does to a person slowly over time. And I think the last thing that I will say is that I wish we had seen a little bit more of Elle's backstory. We got snippets of it. We got that Elle was an orphan, that he had a lot of money because of Watari, and that he was very, very smart and was trained to catch criminals. So I guess those were the main things, but like, why was he the way that he was? Why was he chosen to catch criminals? Why did he choose to go down that road and live a life of essentially solitude aside from Watari? I want that sweet, sweet lore. I want the backstory. Very cool character overall. Very, very interesting story. Very good show that kept me on the edge of my seat from start to finish. It had a really good way of keeping me hopeful and that there would be payoff while still breaking my heart in the meantime. Elle's death, Light's father's death, Rem's death. There were a lot of deaths in this show that hit me really hard. I'm glad that Misa made it. Although the sort of expose at the end where she's standing on the roof, I'm kind of like, what is this supposed to mean? Is she just standing there, or is this like her about to walk off? Like, I don't really know what that was supposed to signify, if anything. But Light didn't kill her, so that's something. And also Ryuk made it, so that's important. And Matsu and Aizawa, a lot of the good guys made it. Yeah, I think that concludes my thoughts on the show. It was really good, and thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. It's been such a good time, if not emotional and heartbreaking at times, but overall, really, really fun to enjoy this with so many wonderful, amazing people. So thank you for watching this along with me. Next week, we will be starting Chainsaw Man next Friday. I'm also going to be dropping the finale of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood next Wednesday. So lots of exciting things happening there. Also, a reminder to once again go check out my friends at pinkcity.ca, a local Canadian apparel brand who does nerdy anime type clothes. That's where I got this Ryuk sweater from. And once again, I'm not sponsored. I just want to talk them up because they're amazing. And you should totally go buy their stuff. So I will put a link to their website in the description of this video. And of course, I had to wear the Ryuk sweater for the finale, 1000%. But yeah, that was Death Note, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you would like full access to my reactions, you can find those on my Patreon. I'm also all over the internet, so keep up with me wherever you would like. I will post a link tree in the description of this video as well. And of course, do not forget to hit like on this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more anime reactions. I will catch you later with more nerdy anime. Have a good one, folks.